Hey there everybody, how's it going? My name is Levequest. Welcome everybody to Final Fantasy XIV. In today's video, I'd like to talk about how to get properly prepped for Stormblood and kind of give some general guidelines on how to get yourself ready and good to go for the release of the Stormblood expansion. I don't really know about you, but I mainly play as a bard. I like to play other classes, but I primarily play as a bard. I've never really had a want or reason to want to switch from a bard to anything else. I've experimented with healers, I've experimented with tanks, but I'm really enjoying the bard as a class. It fits my playstyle and it's really fun for me to play. So primarily what I would typically do is continue into Stormblood with Bard, but there are a lot of players out there that are probably looking into class right now thinking, do I really want to go into Stormblood with this class, with this role? Do I really want to tank? Do I really want to heal? Should I try tanking? Should I try healing instead of DPSing? Should I go from ranged DPS to melee, from melee to ranged? Should I try a different class that I've never played before, or does something particular look favorable? Another question is, do they want to jump into Stormblood as a red mage or samurai, or do they want to jump into a class they already have leveled? And that is the best part about new expansion in an MMO. It gives you a chance and the ability to reroll your role or your class to how you see fit and try something new, something different, something spontaneous, something fun, something different. Preferably, I would like to stay as a bard, go all the way up to level 70 as a bard, then level red mage, then machinist, then dark knight, then astrologian, then every other class in that particular order. That's primarily how I like to level in my MMOs. I choose one class that I really like, then I'll level another class that I really like, and then a third class I will take very slow time on it, and then towards the middle of the expansion I will start working on other classes here and there. But when it comes to Stormblood, Red Mage and Samurai are the two new classes being added to Stormblood. Now, for the players that are considering to play as a Samurai or Red Mage over in Stormblood, please do be aware that in most cases, in most expansions and most MMOs, new classes are typically developed to be a little bit underpowered so that developers can balance them out and make them as strong as they need to be in order to be competitive and in order to be equal to other classes in Final Fantasy. If you are in a rating static, however, it is gonna be a highly difficult thing to talk about, because when it comes to rating, you want to make sure you have diversity of classes, you want to make sure that you bring in as much utility as you possibly can. Simply sit down with your rating static or your free company and discuss with them what is required and what is needed for Stormblood, because typically raiders like to get the main class to Stormblood as quickly as possible and start at the gearing treadmill before raids open up and they can start progression on the raids. In that regard, in that case, just simply talk to your static about what can be changed or what can be allowed in order to make sure that you have proper synergy. Now, tanks that are playing as tanks and healers that are playing as healers will most likely stay as the classes they are playing right now. They may reroll to another class and they don't have the ability to switch to a red mage. And obviously, because of Red Mage and Samurai, the DPS queues for dungeons are going to be overstocked, so that is also another thing to consider in case you're going to be doing dungeons while leveling in Stormblood. While waiting for Stormblood to be out, you might be working on getting a class or two up to level 60 or at least up to level 50, so you would have them on standby in case you decide to level them over in Stormblood and up to Stormblood level of 70. Now that is always a good thing to do because you want to make sure you have classes available for you to play whenever you feel like exploring as a crafter or a gatherer especially. And since we're getting the ability to harvest underwater, harvesting and gathering in Final Fantasy XIV is going to be really fun. In regards to leveling your classes in Final Fantasy XIV, if you're trying to get them at least up to level 50 or all the way up to level 60, the best way I was able to find up to level 50 for battle classes is Palace of the Dead. It is going to be long, it's going to be repetitive, sometimes it's going to be annoying, it's going to be grindy, but it is what it is. I've calculated the math, and every single run of the sets of floors of 51 to 60 gives you the most amount of experience, and spamming it back to back to back is extremely fast, extremely easy. It's not anything difficult to work with, and it gives you a decent chunk of experience per run, especially anywhere from level 50 to 60. If you're going from all the way from 50 to 60, Palace of the Dead might be the best way to go if you can do a dungeon spam. Now, obviously, you want to make sure you do your class quest, and you want to do dungeons in between to kind of deal with the grind and teach you how to play the new class you're leveling. And if you're stuck in a story, make sure to do the part of the story. And if you want to break up the grind in between, you can always get the beast stripes in Hemsworth. Aside from getting a mount and other cosmetic options, it's another great way to just simply grind without the grind of Palace of the Dead. It's like an escape from the palace. Now, if you're playing as a crafter, the best way I figure out how to do it is through leave spamming boosting, and I'll leave a link to that in the description below. It is the best way that I was able to find how to level my carpenter. It took me maybe less than 2 weeks to level carpenter to 50, and I'm currently working right now through the Mhigo beast stripes to get him to 60. But if you want to get yourself up to level 50 on a crafter, that is probably the best way. It is expensive, I will say that. It is expensive if you don't have a gatherer to complement your crafting profession, so make sure to get a gatherer of some sort to complement that. Aside from that, just simply do beast stripes and do the leave spam if you want to, and daily turn-ins for your grand company. For gatherer, leave spam, and just turning on a YouTube video, a live stream, a podcast, and gather for your crafting professions. Simple as that. It's a great way to get materials for your crafter. It's going to be long, it's going to be sometimes boring, which is why I say turn on a podcast. Simply chill back, relax. If you have a controller, plug the controller in, and just have a chill session of gathering and crafting. Now, if you ever consider getting into the artifact weapon and creating yourself the Animal Lux weapon, now might be the best time of all. Compared to when Animal Weapon was originally released, with the recent nerfs to the progression for the Animal Weapon and how easy it is to get all the materials needed now compared to when it first began and in previous steps of the Animal Weapon, it might be probably the best time to get into the Animal Weapon now and see if you can create it. According to my buddies here on Final Fantasy XIV that already have created several pieces of Animal Weapon and started other parts of the Animal Weapon for the other classes as well, it takes roughly a month, give or take a couple of days, maybe a week or two. I don't know. But it should be enough time for you to create the Animal Weapon, and that's actually what I started working on right now. As slow as I have been right now, it just been finished with the finals, and over the weekend started working on a little bit more towards the Animal Weapon. I'm currently right now in step 2, about to enter step 3, and I've been getting a lot of help from the people that already done it so much that I should have no problem getting into the Animal Weapon and getting my 275 Lux bow for my bard. And although you don't have to do the Animal Weapon right now, you can just wait until Stormblood to do all the prerequisites and try to play the catch-up game. Making an Animal Weapon and an Artifact Weapon right now will allow you to skip a step or two over in Stormblood, so you can start working on making sure you improve the weapon that you already have and making it better as it goes on. Instead of going through the grind of trying to collect any crystals or any other materials you have to get from fates or whatever other methods that Stormblood will have for the Animal Weapon catch-up grind. Now, it's not necessarily needed. Now, you don't need an Animal Weapon to enter into Stormblood, because you'll be able to get into Stormblood, go up to a vendor, be able to purchase yourself a level 60 weapon, and as you go through the game and level up through the expansion, you'll be able to unlock weapons and be able to get weapons and armor through quest lines and be able to purchase them from a vendor. So you really don't need the gear for it, and you don't need the weapon in order to do better. It just will help you progress the artifact weapon in Stormblood. And skipping a step or two is better than not skipping a step or two and going through the grind itself. Now, if you don't mind the grind, you don't have to do it, but since it only takes roughly about a month to do it, why not do it? Why not have this big, great accomplishment of going into with the Lux weapon into Stormblood? I'm gonna attempt it. I'm currently right now on step 2 myself, so I'm gonna be on the same grind as you there. And with the dropping of the PS3 from the Final Fantasy XIV's supported systems, PS4 and PC are the only ones available, and that allows the developers at Square Enix to actually add more visual effects, more particle effects, as you can see right here through the benchmark. Some of the fog, the amount of players and actors are visible on screen at once, the amount of depth and the amount of distance of the draw distance for the actors and different objects is highly increased in order to show more of the world and not have to be gimped by a underperforming system such as the PS3. It's unfortunate that the PS3 had to be dropped, but in order for the game to continue moving forward and be able to have all these player actors together on one screen together and show all these characters together and the detail for the world has, it had to be done. So if you're playing on PS4, you should have no problem with it. Don't worry about getting a benchmark. You already got your system benchmarked already by Square Enix and Sony, so you don't have anything to worry about. If you play on PC, however, it is highly recommended to just download this Stormblood benchmark. I'll leave it in the description below if you want to check it out and download for yourself and test out different quality settings. Mine, I just ran on the preset default setting that they already had. It wasn't the best, but it was set at high setting. It was like desktop high setting. Yeah, it should be something around like a desktop high setting. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the benchmark. I'm gonna go ahead and actually end the video right here. Enjoy the rest of this, and let me know what you think about all the reasons here. And if I missed anything out, please do let me know over in the comments below what are other things the players should consider before getting into Stormblood, and what they should be prepping against or prepping for in Stormblood or before Stormblood is out. Nevertheless, hope you enjoyed the video. My name is Daydreamer. Like, subscribe, and as always, have a good day. And I'll see you all in the next video or whatever I make. See ya!